16 years ago, I started a gratitude journal, and I will have to say, it was the single most important thing I believe I've ever done. So every day, for years now, I've written down 5 things to be grateful for. And you have to write them down. It's very different than just saying, oh, I'm grateful for today. You have to physically write them down because there's power in the words. Even simple things like fresh flowers or somebody holding the door open for me. So when you wake up in the morning and you consciously look for things to be thankful for, what happens is if you go through the day thinking about the 5 things that you're going to do in the evening, you are more alive and receptive to the goodness that comes in your life. Because sometimes it is as simple as somebody holding the door. One time it was just 2 squirrels eating. I said, I better write that down. So when you allow yourself to feel gratitude in the present moment, in the now, what I promise you is that the spiritual dimension of your life begins to change. It opens up, it expands, and you just grow with it. That is the truth. If I ever spoke the truth in my life, if you want to change your state of being, start to be grateful.
When I was a little kid living on a dirt road in Mississippi, a red dirt road, as a matter of fact, I was the one that was always playing the teacher. And I was the teacher. And if we were playing house, I was the mother. Even if I was the younger girl, I would have to be the mother over everybody else. So some people call that bossy. I just call it, well, I know better, so I should be the one. I should be the teacher because I'm the one that knows. And so I would have to say that teaching is my first love. It is my first love. And the thing that still delights and brings me the greatest level of satisfaction is having a conversation, and in the middle of the conversation, someone discovers something or hears something and says or thinks, oh, I never thought of it that way before. I love that experience for myself. I love to be reading something or talking to somebody and hear something and suddenly, wow, that's a new way of thinking about it. I hadn't thought of that before. And I have to tell you, on the Oprah show, when people actually said that out loud, I would just go, because that's the best thing that could happen. Like, that is what enlightenment is. You present an idea in such a way that somebody goes, I hadn't thought of it that way before. I now know that what Maya Angelou told me when I came back from my school, when I went to her house because she wasn't able to come to the opening, and I was like, oh, Maya, this is just going to be the greatest. This school is going to be my greatest legacy. And she said, you have no idea what your legacy is going to be. I said, oh, no, I think this school is really going to be. It's these girls. And she said, I said, you have no idea what your legacy is going to be, because your legacy is never one thing. Your legacy is every life you've touched. Every life you've touched. And then she went on to say, it's everybody who ever watched a show and decided because of that show and something you said, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to leave my abusive husband. I'm going to stop hitting my child. I'm going to get a better bra. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to go check my blood pressure. I'm going to check on my father, who I haven't talked to for years. I'm going to forgive my brother. It's every life you've touched. And so when I think about that, I think about the number of millions of people, literally millions of people, who watched a show and heard something, felt something, were moved by something that opened up the aperture of hope, of possibility, of yearning, of consciousness, just even a little bit. That's a life that I touched. And you just can't get any better than that. When I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I think. I train myself to say thank you first before you start with, what am I going to do? Even this morning in the hotel, I was like, there was a noise outside. Thank you. You go to thank you first. You start your day with thank you. And I end my day with thank you. And that is my spiritual practice. That is my deepest, greatest spiritual practice. And training myself to do that. And if you train yourself to do that, you walk through life feeling the abundance instead of the scarcity. And I get to think about this every day. It's great for me. But what I realize is that being able to stand solidly in the maturity of my own spiritual growth has been the thing that has brought me to this point. I just was like praying every night. I carried the book I had a backpack that I would walk from Wacker Drive, where AM Chicago was done, and I'd carry books of The Color Purple in my backpack, and I would walk home just so I could give out the books to people. This was long before there was a book club. Okay, but I wanted people to read that book, and I'd just be passing out the book, and because when I like a thing, okay? And I believe life is better when you share it, whether that's a candy bar when I was a kid or whether it's sharing books or whatever. So I wanted everybody to read this book. I'd given away to everybody in my office, and now I've run out of people. So I would just go on the street and I'd just hand out the book. And then I started praying that I would somehow be able to get in this movie, and I get a call. I get a call from, be healed when you go to this movie. You will be healed. I don't know, whatever it needs healing will get healed. The joyfulness of it, the spirit of forgiveness, the sense of hope, the sense of, no matter how oppressed or challenged you are, that there is life in the imagination. And what we see in this version that you didn't see in Spielberg's version, which I still love, the original, obviously, is that we get inside Celie's head. And so for me to be able to have this moment, I just feel so blessed and rewarded that I get to see it, because it has meant so much to me. Focusing on the one thing that you are grateful for increases the energy of gratitude and rises just a little bit the joy inside yourself, just a little bit. If you can just get to one good feeling helps build on another good feeling and another good feeling. Just the idea of saying, I am grateful for my breath. I am grateful that I was able to get up and walk on both legs this morning, and really feel that. I am grateful that I'm able to use my hands. I think about Monica George every time I go to reach for something. On the $3 in your wallet will bring you $5 sooner than focusing on the $50 you don't have. So if you allow yourself to get to the space of a good feeling, I don't care what that good feeling is, a good feeling increases more good feeling. In the same way that being in a bad situation and focusing on the bad situation continues to make you feel worse. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is read some kind of spiritual material. I read some kind of spiritual enlightenment. So I start my day with something that is going to put me in a positive frame of mind so that I begin attracting to me positive energy.